Well, hello, hello. How are you? This is Rosa, RCG Creations. We are making chicken pot pie in little muffin tins. And I cheated. And I will put a link to my video where yesterday, actually last night, well, actually this morning at 2:30, I finished making pressure canning chicken pot pie. I ended up making, it made 19 pint jars. My canner only holds 18, so one of them had to be left over in the fridge, which was okay because we were going to make pot pies today anyway. But I'm cheating. Instead of making homemade pie crust, I got the store-bought kind. And I rolled it all out. I used my little cookie cutter for the inside because I needed to do something easy because after supper, wait a little bit, then I'm going to go to bed early because I'm exhausted. But anyway, so I have a little bit of dough left. So 2, 4, 6, I ended up getting 8. And this is a 6-inch little pie shell. So all I'm doing is I rolled out the dough. I used one of these as a measurement. Use my little, because can't be cut, my little pastry sheet. So this is a little rubber spatula that I used to circle around, so I make sure I had the right size. Now I'm going to get my little cookie cutter, and there we go. And this will be extra, which this is pastry, so I'm still going to bake it. I'm not going to waste it. And you could always put like little cutouts and put a little design, put it on top of one for a look, but I'm not going to go for that. So, alrighty. But anyway, I'll put a link. I forgot what I was saying. I'll put a link. I remember now. I lost my train of thought. I'll put a link on how to make the chicken pot pie filling. So it's got cooked chicken. And remember, start with good clean table, clean hands, clean utensils. And, oh, Puppy, he said something, but he don't want to get on the video. And I added a can of Creame of Chicken Soup, and this is a creamy kind, and that's going to give it its base. So I've got cooked. Actually, all of this is pressure canned except for the soup, the can of soup. Okay. And I could have used my, I'll actually put a link in that too, where I made my pre-measured powdered chicken of whatever, chicken of mushroom, chicken of cream of chicken, cream of mushroom, cream of asparagus.
Cream of celery.
Cream of celery, that's a good one. A cream of asparagus.
Good flavors.
Great flavors.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that because I've got 6 cans. I have got to use these up. So fill it up as much as you want. Oh, gonna get my little egg wash because I don't want this to stick to the inside of my Teflon, not my Teflon, my metal pan. And I've had this Pillsbury pie crust filling many times.
Now, did you do traditional with the pie crust on the bottom, or are you just putting them filling in and pie crust on top?
Yeah, no, just to try. I'm doing no pie crust on the bottom, just the filling.
Okay.
Hubby likes that way.
I also like with the pie crust on the bottom. They're pretty good.
But these are small ones, so.
Sometimes you gotta watch because they'll burn if you're not careful.
Yep. Okay, so now I'm just going to line it up as close as I can. I want to stay within my 15-minute time frame. I'm just going to pinch it just a little bit, not totally. And I got my little air hole. I know it's a little bit big, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to get my little fork. I just want a little of a dentition right on the lip. I'm using, I don't think you can see me. I'm just holding my hand right here on the lip, and then I'm pressing down with the fork. Just to give myself, to make it look just a little bit like store-bought.
You know, you can put that extra dough back on top and just cut an X in it. And that's what I normally do. When I cook mine
Repeat.
in a Ninja, I put the dough on top. All I do is cut an X, and it doesn't blow up or anything.
Oh, I wanted to have a gap.
Oh, because I usually cut just an X in there.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this extra dough. I'm gonna do something with and without it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, just cut an X in it, and then when it expands, the X causes it help to release pressure.
I'll just cut a little tip like that. Good idea, honey. We'll see. So there's one already made. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish out the rest of these, and then we'll bring you back when we do the taste test. We're gonna cook it, and let me see what my notes say. 425-degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, and these are little ones. I'm pretty sure 25 would be more than enough. Okay, we'll bring you back. Alrighty, we are back. They got a little toasty, so for this size of pot pies, I would definitely say only do 20 minutes, not 25. I did 25. Then, of course, remember, everyone's ovens are different. I was running out of filling, and I didn't want to make another batch. So some of these are going to be on the little skimpy side. So here's these two. Yeah, I put the edge in. These two right here have a double crust. These four have a single crust. So I'm going to try, let me get a pot holder, because we just got this. Hubby got to help me get these out of the oven. Actually, that's not too hot. I don't want to touch this and burn myself. Oh yes, yeah, nice and flaky. And the crust on the bottom did not burn. Now I did put an egg wash on top of this, so part of this is the color of the egg wash too, okay? Oh man, look at that. I'm gonna bring you closer. I don't need my hot plate, my pot holder. Look at that. See that? That is some yummy goodness. Now, I'm going to use one of my little hot plate pot holder things. We don't need a plate at all. And look, dinner in one bowl. We've got cooked, well, I parboiled the chicken in water. Actually, I used a little bit of chicken broth, my homemade chicken broth. Okay, and I made some broth out of some chicken baste paste. I think it's from McCormick. I'll put a link in there of what I used on that to make my chicken broth, and that's what I parboiled the chicken. Parboil means you just want it to get white. Okay, you don't want to cook it because it's going to cook when it pressure cans. And then I've got cut up raw carrots. I did not dice the onions because hubby just don't care for onions. I love the flavor, so we're compromising, and I left them the entire ring solid. That way they're easy. If you see one, and he gets one, I try to be careful in making sure some of these did not have any onion in it. I love onions, so I'm going to eat it all. That way he can just pull it out and not eat it. And you've got your celery, raw celery. Okay, you saute your in butter, and I will put the link in there for you. You saute in the butter, the onion, then you add the carrots, then you add the celery. And I didn't have any frozen peas. All I have are canned peas, so I saved the canned peas for just before when I mix it up with my cream of chicken soup. And then I added my peas in there. And that's it. So I'll have the link on that. So let's do the taste test. It should have kind of sort of cooled down. I want to make sure I get some crust. I would say add just a little bit of salt. I tasted it before I put it in the pressure canner, before I put the food in the jars. But of course, when you pressure can, things turn out a little bit differently. And some of the seasonings turns out a little bit differently. And let's see, what else did I put? Some different, I forget what all seasonings I did put in it. But everything was recommended by the National FDA, Food Preservation, whatever that organization's called. But anyway, all that was been approved for canning. And also, Ball has a recipe for chicken pot pie that you can pressure can. So it's not chicken pot pie you're doing, is chicken pot pie filling is what you're pressure canning. Because you do the crust when you bake afterwards. But it's nice to have everything already on the shelf. So all you really basically have to do is like what I did. In 15 minutes, I poured out a jar through a strainer. And I saved my liquid. I'm going to show you. Out of my 3 jars, pint jars, I saved all the broth. This is some good flavor because this tastes good. And then I labeled it, and this is going to go in the freezer. So I'll have 2 of these that are not going to get wasted, that are going to get frozen. Let me get this away from that hot pot pan. That are going to get frozen. So this way, when I need some chicken broth, chicken stock, because it's got all the flavors and the seasonings and all that's in there. And so I saved that, and I'm going to freeze this. So I did not waste anything. I used the broth, and I used all the filler. Put it in your little pie pan, or you can use a great big one, whatever size you're going to make, depending on how big your family is. Then put pastry. Of course, it is nicer if you have a homemade pastry, but I don't want to make the time to do it, so I cheated and used a store-bought one. Put it on top. If you want to, coat it with an egg wash, just so it doesn't dry out on you, and it gives it a little prettier color. Bake it at 425 degrees. Now this size right here, 425 degrees, for about I would say 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how hot your oven goes. But I would definitely check it at 20 minutes and see if they're done and cooked all the way through. And this one was one that had the pie filling on the bottom, and the pie filling on the bottom not burnt, and it tastes good. Oh, the hot. Excuse for me talking with my mouth open with food. But all the veggies are soft. The chicken's good, juicy, flavorful. This is a definite 2 thumbs up. We'll be making this again. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye. Oh, I gotta do. See that? Yum, yum, yum.